everyone, so it's me again for another life lessons video. I apologize in advance for how dark it is. I waited a little bit too long to get started on this video, so whoops. Anyways, I thought I would cover a topic that, might be useful for some of you guys because it is something you eventually, no matter what you do or who you are gonna experience, and that's that really awkward interaction with someone you used to work with who maybe you didn't get along super great with. Let's get into some situations and how to handle them as professionally as you can. Let's go. So at work, say you work a daytime job where you either serve people food or coffee, or you're at a white-collar job where people become your clients and you get paid to do things for them, in a sense. At some point in your career, no matter who you are, you're gonna have someone you don't get along with, you don't like, and you butt heads with a lot, who you work with for a period of time, and then you go your separate ways. Now, fate is funny sometimes, and no matter who you are, there's going to be eventually a situation where you have to deal with them again. Whether this is them coming into your place of work, or suddenly them becoming your client. What do you do? So depending on how you left things with that particular person, you just have to navigate it as best you can. So if they come into your place of work, if you are a Starbucks barista, or you're a server, or you're a retail person who sells people things and they come in to buy a thing from you, honestly, just be as polite as you can and make the interaction as pleasant and quick as possible. So if you are serving coffee, just take their order, give it to them, and just move on and forget that they were ever there. If you are in the retail space and you are selling people things, just help them find the thing they need and get out of there. If you work the register, just process that stuff as fast as you can, try to be as nice as you can throughout the process, and just get out of there. Now, if they become your client and you have to deal with them long term, it's a lot harder. Say, for instance, you worked at a company that does marketing, and you were at their company before, but now you're at another company and they have come to you basically wanting you to do marketing for them. That's not going to be a quick interaction, really at all. So the best thing you can do in that situation is just be as polite and professional as possible, and just pray that your interactions are minimal, mainly over email, and make absolutely certain any communication that you have with them that is written, you have all of your bosses and the rest of your team CC'd on them, so if they decide to take the low road, you're pretty much covered. So that's probably the best way to deal with someone that you really didn't get along with at your particular job. And as tempting as it's going to be in all those situations to have sweet, sweet revenge of making them as a customer feel really, really bad the way they made you feel, don't do it, because honestly, they are not worth losing your job over. And I guarantee you, if you make their life miserable as a customer, you're not going to be working at your place of work for all that long. Now say the tables are turned and now they are servicing you. The one thing you want to remember here is the same rules apply. Be professional, get in, get out of there as fast as you can if it's like a Starbucks or a pizza or a waitressing job. But if it's not, if it's white collar and now you are paying them to do services, keep in mind that they're going to do the same thing that I suggested in the last clip. They're going to CC all of their bosses, so if you decide to be really mean and unprofessional, they are going to know. And why is this a problem? In a lot of white-collar jobs, if you are unnecessarily rude to one of your vendors, it can really bite you in the bum. How do I mean? So if you are basically paying them to do marketing for you, and you've decided to leave them a tirade via email, and you've sent it to just them because rah, 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 screw them. What they're going to do is send it to their boss, and depending on the relationship your two companies have, if the relationship is more important than you as an employee, as in it is bigger money-wise and it's a long-term relationship, and losing them as a vendor would cost the other person a lot of money, guess what they're going to do? You're probably going to get fired. So don't attack them like that, because it's not going to end well, no matter how empowering it may feel. Now, say you're out to lunch with your coworkers and you run into them with their new coworkers. It's going to be really tempting to throw some shade, be passive aggressive, and gloat about your new job that's so much better to them who might still be at the old job that maybe isn't as good. Also, don't do that. One of the prime rules of anything in the professional sphere is everybody knows somebody, and that's dangerous. So if you start being flippant and rude and mean, even if you're just talking to them and their group of coworkers and you're just with your group of coworkers, that's going to get back to the other company, trust me. And you being mean to them is going to really reflect poorly on your current coworkers who may not know the full situation. So just, if you bump into someone you really didn't like outside of work, say you're both getting lunch at the same restaurant, just be concise and nice and make the interaction as short as possible to avoid any awkward shit. And if they are mean to you, don't stoop to their level. Just be as polite as you can, as dismissive as you can, because inevitably, if they do say some really messed up shit about you, their coworkers are not going to take it particularly well. How do I mean? Well, I can give you an exact example. When I left one of my former companies, I was on pretty good terms with a lot of the people that worked there, except for one. One person who will go unnamed, but I will say it's a she, really didn't like me. So when I left the company, she took it upon herself to talk about how horrible and crappy and unsavory and untalented a person I was to everyone else that worked at that company. And unfortunately, because I was on such good terms with all of them, every time she did this, it would get back to me. So fast forward to now, where I'm at a new job that sits kind of on the other side of the table. Guess who is in a meeting with me, basically begging us to take them on and do work for them? Her. And unfortunately for her, one of the other people in that meeting on my side of the table working for my company was one of those people that heard her talk that shit about me the whole time. And you know what happened? We didn't end up working with them. That's how powerful that kind of thing is, and why you have to be very, very careful about what you say. Not just when you're around them, when you're in a public space in general. Do not assume that everyone around you has no context and is not affiliated with anyone. Everybody knows someone. So if you say something really mean about your former company, be aware there's a good chance that someone out there is going to overhear it and relay it back. So whenever you're in public and you're talking about your former experiences at work, whether it be coworkers, your boss, the things you did, be really positive, because you never know who is listening. So a lot of the examples I talked about were traditional jobs that are typically 9 to 5 or part-time or require you going to a place to do work. But as we know, quite a bunch of furries actually work for themselves and take commissions and essentially work from home and run their own businesses. So you might be thinking, because you don't have a boss that you could in the future bump into or a coworker, that you're kind of off the hook, and there you'd be wrong. So anytime you interact with any customer, you're going to want to apply the same rules. Even if they are the worst customer you have ever worked with, bear in mind that they probably know a lot of people. Whether it's a newer furry that is getting their first fursuit, or a known furry that is getting a badge from you, or if you are, doing a ref sheet for someone who's kind of like mid-level known in the community, but not really, be aware that just because they don't have a ton of followers or subscribers on Twitter or YouTube or Instagram doesn't mean that anything you say won't get back to you to butt you in the bum. So one good example I can give of this is if you have a customer and you've just decided they're intolerable, and you take it upon yourself to talk about them to your other current customers and about how horrible they are, annoying they are to work with, how, you can't believe you're doing work for them. Just be aware that even if they nod, say, okay, like this stays between us, that it's never really going to. At some point, whether it be at a drunken room party or in another separate Telegram message or what have you, someone's gonna hear about what you had to say, and depending on how you said it and when you said it and why you said it, it could come back to reflect poorly on your business. And that can mean a whole bunch of customers not coming back to you in the future or killing off future commissions, and that's not good. So as a general rule of thumb, if you are having issues with a customer and they are extremely annoying and you can't deal with them and oh my god, they're so frustrating, don't put that on them, and don't rant about it to other people that might know them, which is kind of everybody, and especially don't rant about it to current customers, because that definitely will get back to them. If you have to rant to someone, rant to your dog or your cat or your boyfriend or your mirror, or go play some video games for 5 minutes and get rid of your annoyance, because trust me, that's going to have a more long-term positive effect than potentially sabotaging yourself by being unprofessional and kind of rude. So I hope this was super helpful. I know it's a short one, but since I'm going to need some time to do 2 drama downloads from stuff that happened this week, I figured this would be some nice filler to hold you over until those are done. Have a great rest of your week and a lovely night. Bye!